her about Lizzie. For the next experiment, Jeff is paired up with Rogan, a huge burly man with an aggressive attitude. Jeff has no interest in men and is worried that they'll make him get busy with Rogan, so he refuses to acknowledge any dose, but absolutely nothing happens and they're allowed to leave after a few minutes. It's not hard to put 2 and 2 together, thus Jeff rushes to the scientist's room to confirm his suspicions. Heather had been asked to give Darkenflox to Jeff or Rogan, and she chose neither. This also means Heather got busy with Rogan during one of these tests. Furious, Jeff wants to know if everyone is getting together with everyone, and Steve shows him a chart mapping all the connections among the prisoners. Steve explains it's an experimental design mandated by the protocol committee, and he isn't a big fan of it either. When Jeff expresses how uncomfortable he is with the lines this testing is crossing, Steve reminds him he was the one that volunteered, and the alternative is life in an awful state jail surrounded by power-hungry cops. Not wanting to lose the privileges he has here, Jeff apologizes and returns for another test with Rogan. Fortunately, Sarah doesn't give the Darkenflox to any of them either. After the test is done, Steve thinks they'll be ready to give it a gold star soon, but Mark is starting to feel uncomfortable with it as well. Steve reminds him this is necessary work in order to make the world a better place, and Mark leaves for his weekend out in a better mood. Later in the evening, Steve gives himself a dose of N42. The prisoners don't know this, but he has a Moby pack on his back as well. Meanwhile, Jeff and Lizzie are having dinner together while Jeff explains how awful Darkenflox makes you feel. Lizzie takes his hand and asks why Jeff changed chores. Jeff tells her this place messes with his head and sometimes he forgets who he used to be before coming here, but when he's with her, he really feels like himself. The next Monday, Steve decides to take the risk and asks Mark to give him a triple dose of the chemicals. Jeff comes over for today's test and catches them on the act, and since the scientists quickly put everything away, Jeff doesn't comment on it. For the next experiment, Steve tells Jeff that the committee has ordered them to continue with the Darkenflox testing, so Jeff has no choice but to give Heather a dose. Because he's under the effects of the chemicals, Steve is more aggressive with his techniques, reminding a hesitant Jeff